Yo, 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 yo. What is going on, guys? Hope it's having a great day today. So I want to go over some news, updates for the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to Jalen Hurts' contract, pre-draft visits, and a lot more. Definitely a lot to talk about here, so sit back, relax. We're going to get into all the news.
Because I've seen enough horror movies to know any weirdo wearing a mask is never friendly.
What is going on, guys? Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. So day by day by day, we're waiting for the draft. We're waiting for draft night, and I'm really excited. We're going to hear a lot of smoke screens. We're going to hear a lot of rumors, and obviously I'm going to report as much as I possibly can, whether they are right or wrong, because I think just the excitement of the draft really gets us going. The draft is like Christmas. It's like opening, a gift on Christmas, the best gift on Christmas, especially in the first round. But we're opening two really expensive gifts in the first round. So I want to switch over to the Hurts contract. Now, PFF did have some news on a projected contract, what it would look like. And I don't really follow PFF too much on statistics and stuff like that when it comes to Jalen Hurts. And we haven't really talked about it. The rumors have been flying around. Apparently, there is rumor that this deal will be done before the draft, but who knows at this point. There's not going to be a holdout during training camp or anything like that, so don't worry about it. From what we've heard so far about it, the two sides, there has been really no roadblocks with this whole entire thing with Jalen Hurts, which is pretty cool. The projected contract is about 4 years, $195 million, okay? It's projected. It doesn't mean it's going to be that number. I still think that the number is going to probably be at $50 million, per year. It could be at this point. And I think the Eagles want to lock him up. But a lot of rumors swirling around this contract now, that because looking at that Mahomes contract, and that contract went up to, I forgot how much, 400 or 500 million, whatever, probably in incentives, a lot there, but was very cap friendly as well. I don't really see Jalen Hurts trying to strangle this organization and this team. I feel like Hurts is going to get paid, but Howie Roseman is going to work the cap where it's going to lower some cap hits. It will be a very good cap-friendly quarterback deal. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to be, cheap every year. I think he'll get it cheap for a couple years or something like that, so he'll move some money around. And he could still kind of keep doing that if he wants down the line with Jalen Hurts. I'm really hoping that the extension is a longer one where he can get a lot of incentives, in this contract. So obviously, if he makes it to a couple Super Bowls, if he gets into some playoff games, if he throws over 4,000 yards, whatever the case may be, he'll have incentives for that deal, which is more money if he hits those milestones. But obviously, I'm looking for a duration of a pretty lengthy contract and some, obviously cap-friendly hits, which is really going to help the team out. And obviously, Jalen Hurts is all about the team. I don't care what it is. I mean, you gotta pay this guy. It's going to happen. I know Eagles fans are getting really, they're getting a little impatient. It will happen. I mean, he will be signed before the season. This isn't going to be a thing where this lingers into the season and blah, blah, blah. He will have his deal done. It could be before the draft. It could be after the draft. It could be between June and July when, the Eagles aren't really doing too much. It's kind of slow, and they want to try to get something done with Hurts. And I think we just got to, be patient. It'll happen. And a cap-friendly deal seems like it's more than likely it could happen, which is pretty good. So just wanted to talk about that and kind of get on that subject real quick. Secondly, Marcus Mariota had his press conference. Man, it's crazy till this day. I mean, you sign him to a one-year deal, $5 million. There is incentives involved if he has to take over as quarterback, obviously. God forbid, knock on wood for anything else to happen. But I took a lot out of this press conference, and I think the most important thing is him just being a veteran and helping Jalen. As much as Jalen is learning the past few years, Marcus Mariota has, he's been a starter. He was a first overall pick. He's been injured. He's gone through almost anything from a starter to a backup to getting a second chance with Atlanta and trying to make something out of it. You know what I mean? I think what's really going to help, and especially with with Marcus Mariota and what he said in the press conference of helping Jalen Hurts and being there for him. And Mariota is more of a team player. I don't even I know every quarterback wants to start, but I think he's at a time now where if I get the playing time, I'll take advantage of it, but I'm here to help this team regardless. And I think obviously this team being in the Super Bowl and, we had a quarterback in Gardner Minshew, which he looked good a couple years ago, started for that one game versus the Jets, and then, everybody was praising him, and then really when we need that number one seed earlier in the season where we could have locked it up a lot earlier for guys to get healthy, he just couldn't get it done. I blame some of the coaching staff for what they did with him, putting Minshew in a Jalen Hurts offense, an RPO read option style offense, which is horrible. I said go out, get Marcus Mariota, but I didn't think it was going to happen because I thought he would have been too expensive. But $5 million for the year is really not that bad. Not only that, but Brian Johnson doesn't have to change the playbook really whatsoever. Okay? When it comes to RPOs, read options, using the quarterback's legs for a lot of things, I think Hurts is better at it by a mile than Marcus Mariota, but Marcus Mariota is still good at it. He could still get it done, but as a backup, I feel like he can win some games for us if he has to. If there need be, he needs to come in. I think he can, man. I think he can. It's going to be weird seeing Marcus Mariota in an Eagles jersey and an Eagles uniform wearing those wings on his helmet. It's going to be definitely different for sure. This guy could have been our quarterback years ago. I'm not getting into all that, but, this is like deja vu of something that maybe was going to happen a long time ago. And probably say to ourselves, thank God it didn't. I wasn't on that train of that even happening. But, Mariota's a good vet. Been through a lot, ups and downs. He doesn't have social media. He doesn't have nothing. He's very, very private with his own life. And, I think he's a really good fit. I think he has a really good attitude. And I think with Brian Johnson, it puts less pressure on him to have two quarterbacks that have a similar skill set, which is great. Put Marcus Mariota in this offense with the weapons that they have right now, and I think he'd be pretty damn successful at it, to be honest, or look really good with what will be, what will be there for him. So just kind of want to talk, kind of light it up on that real quick at the Marcus Mariota press conference, because obviously it's a really important position. The Eagles value this position a lot. I didn't know they were really going to go the veteran route this year. Jacoby Brissett was definitely one I thought would come here, but I didn't like it because of the skill set. It was different. I kind of wanted to get a guy either in the draft with the 7th round pick or, but they wanted to ensure that if you're going to make it to the playoffs and if you need a quarterback to play a few games, you have a guy right here, right now, and Marcus Mariota to get it done, and I think he still can. So we'll see what happens, man. But the Marcus Mariota thing was pretty cool. Now Bijan Robinson news. Okay, now yes, I know Bijan's not coming to the Eagles. Yes, I understand what all the Eagles fans are saying right now. Let me have my moment. Just let me have my moment. Then after the draft, I won't talk about it anymore. But until now, to April 27th, April 28th, whatever it is, let me have my moments, okay? Going to be a lot of smoke screens, a lot of rumors. Take everything with a grain of salt as of right now. So it looks like the Patriots at 14 have a lot of interest in Bijan. It looks like, yeah, I don't know how true these could be just because, yeah, they probably need a running back. But, they got they already got Mac Jones already on the trade block, and apparently they want to make a move for a quarterback. Apparently there's Lamar to the Patriots going on, or they move up in the top 10. There's probably two other teams between the Titans, Patriots that really want to move up into the top 10. Okay, so obviously if the Eagles pick an offensive lineman or they pick, Jalen Carter, at 10, it's going to be pretty hard to trade. I don't know if because the Titans want to trade up, so they're not going to trade back with that 30th pick the Eagles have right now. It's going to be really tough to kind of move back if you lose on Bijan with that first pick at 10, and he's still on the board at 11 through 13. It's going to be really tough because two of those teams are going to be trade up candidates right now. I don't know if it's going to be 100% true that Tennessee might trade up, but you only have maybe one choice to, you're going to have to make a big move. It could involve that extra second round pick the Philadelphia Eagles had to move up there. So that's the news kind of going on. Like I said, if Bijan's there at 10, if Carter, Will Anderson not there, Bijan's at 10 and the Eagles could definitely take him. I think they still have a lot of interest. No doubt in my mind about it. But like I said, this is all This is all speculation. This is all, obviously, it was reported. It was reported by a lot of writers, and we'll see what happens down the road. We'll see what happens. Like I said, no one is giving out their hand of what's going to happen, but of a team, a needy team with a running back like the Patriots, maybe, that want to get their future guy. It could be a possibility if the Eagles pass them at 10, and they might not want to trade so many picks just to move back up for the sake of it. You know what I mean? The Eagles need blue chip players, obviously, but this should be a real interesting one. Another thing that's interesting, we're going to go through all the pre-draft visits. Okay, there was about 3 to 4. There was about 4 players. Okay. 4 players as of right now that we definitely need to talk about. And one is definitely Joey Porter Jr. That is there right now. Joey Porter is interesting. I don't really get why they bring in Joey Porter, since, unless this is just one of those things where, okay, well, it looks like they're bringing him in because maybe if he slides a little bit into the second round, which I highly doubt. There's just some players they bring in just to bring in and just see. Obviously, if we didn't have Bradbury, if they didn't re-sign him or something like that, I would say that this move is, more realistic. But as of right now, I don't think they go corner in the first round. I just don't see it. I just don't think it is going to happen. I think the Eagles have a lot more on their plate right now besides that position, so should be really, really interesting with it. But yeah, this is one of those moves to where, we want to bring him in because we really like him, but let's just see, if he doesn't make it, if he slides past the first round, maybe we get him down the road. I don't know. Maybe we get him on the next day. I don't know, but I just don't see it. It's, you got to take the pre-draft visits are really important. But you have to take everything into consideration, where there's guys that they're gonna definitely could get, and there's guys where I think they really have interest in this player in Joey Porter, but at the same time, I think it's just for a precaution of if blah 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 down the road, if he slides, if there he is and the Eagles can get him. And I think this is obviously one of the most unrealistic moves the Eagles could make. Joey Porter's a starter. We all know this, and I understand Witherspoon and Gonzalez could be gone from 5 to 12, 13, 14. I think both of them will be gone by that time. Realistically, I think it could happen. So, I just think it's one of those things where the Eagles are just watching what they're doing, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. Next on the list for pre-draft visits, we got Gervin Dexter from Florida, okay? A guy that's going to be a mid-round pick this year, needs help with this pass rush. His pass rush is not bad. It's really technique. It's a lot of things, but his backside pursuit's really good. Can get in the backfield, but, it's just more of his size, using his strength, and showing flashes, like I said, and I think could do a really good job in a rotation. We'll see down the road what happens, but they're looking at a lot of depth rotational pieces for this defensive line, and I think you got a good defensive line coach in Tracy Rocker to get it done, I think would be a pretty good asset. It would take a year or two to see what he could develop into, but has a lot of athleticism and could show high ceiling if he does really well. So, it might just come down to coaching and technique and what he could do. So that's Gervin Dexter. And motor's been his motor has been the biggest problem. Obviously not finishing out at getting in the backfield and, losing energy pretty quick, gets locked up a little bit on blocks. So, we'll see what happens. Next, defensive end from LSU. We got BJ Ojulari. He's got, obviously, I think questioning his strength, questioning his motor, questioning his size, on what he could do. And I really do like his pass rush a lot, and not really great against the run, but he bends really nicely around the edge. The problem, it's just lack of, technique, and this is a 4th round selection, most likely. This is mostly a mid-round type guy, more of a role player, what he could do in a rotation, stuff like that. So I like how they're really looking at a lot of depth for the defensive line. They have to kill on this draft. We all know that. So kind of crazy, but at least the Eagles have looked at a lot of offensive line, defensive line. It's kind of nuts. We all know that's the bread and butter of this team. You have to look at the future. And then lastly, for pre-draft visits, which I think is the most important one, is Peter Skoronski, obviously from Northwestern. All right, with Peter Skoronski, obviously you're getting a guy that's one of the best tackles out there, but at the same time, his pass protection a little suspect. There are times he's lost on some, holding up his blocks a little bit. But I feel like when it comes down to coaching with him, I think he will move from a tackle to a guard. I think if the Eagles actually drafted him at 10, Peter Skoronski is probably one of the most realistic picks I could see them drafting this year at 10. No joke, because I feel like, yes, he's not going to start on the field this year, but as soon as this year is over with, he's going to play. And he's going to play this year. He'll play as an extra lineman. He'll play on field goal. He'll play, but obviously he won't be on every single snap. He should cross-train tackle and guard. But I think if the Eagles do draft him, they will kick him at guard. His run blocking is excellent, good, really good. They're going to kick him in at guard, and he will be probably the starting right guard of this team going into the 24 season. With Kelsey retiring, your offensive line changes. Cam Jurgens moves to center, which I think the Eagles have high praise for. Okay, or you could bring Skoronski in this year to compete with Cam Jurgens for that right guard spot. I wouldn't mind competition. I wouldn't just give him the job, but who's going to compete with Cam Jurgens? We all know he's better than Jack Driscoll right now, and Driscoll is probably a better guard than a tackle. When he came into the league and he took over for Lane Johnson and he played some games at right tackle, he was pretty good, and then, I don't know, he kind of just fell apart a little bit, and then now he's more of a right guard. And when he took over for Lane Johnson for the torn abductor before he came back, it kind of hurt us a little bit. He just didn't really do a good job. More teams are going to put rushers on his side, and it kind of messed us up, a little bit. So, it's going to be really interesting what they do here. It doesn't scare me, but I like I said, I have no problem in the Eagles drafting an offensive lineman at the 10th overall pick. It doesn't bother me at all. We're lucky that we have a front office that gives a crap about offensive line, because I'm telling you right now, there's a lot of teams out there that ignore offensive line, and they could treat Jalen Hurts like they treated Russell Wilson in Seattle, where they didn't really put great offensive linemen in front of him, because they said, Russell, we don't need a high-tier talent at the offensive line, because Russell can just run all over the place. Thank God they're not treating it like that, and they could have done that. Don't get me wrong, they could have done that, because Hurts has a pair of legs on that can get you really far in extending plays. But got to give the Eagles a lot of respect, and this isn't the sexy pick that everybody's looking for, but this could be the pick that is going to surprise Eagles fans. Maybe some guys are not going to see this coming, but I can see this coming from a long way ahead, okay, of drafting Peter Skoronski or Paris Johnson, okay, or Cyrus Torrence. I mean, DeJuan Jones from our pick at 10 to 30, I could see it happening like there's no tomorrow. An offensive lineman will be drafted within the first 3 picks, those 2 first-rounders to that second-rounder. Someone is coming to Philadelphia, and someone is coming here to be, Lane Johnson is another one. He's only going to play like maybe 2 years. Lane Johnson's getting old. You don't have a backup to him right now to be your future. And while you have Lane and Kelsey and some of these guys here, let these guys learn, bring them in. Okay, it's already enough. We've already redshirted Cam Jurgens his first year. And if they bring in Skoronski at 10 and they kick him in the guard and he lays it down and plays really well, in the offseason, joint practices, training camp, whatever the case may be, and beats Cam Jurgens, Cam could be redshirting for a whole nother year. And then we only got 2 years to see if Cam is the right guy for center. We know that Cam is going to cross-train. Peter Skoronski would definitely cross-train, or if they didn't really care, they might have him at tackle and have him at guard. I would keep him cross-train. He obviously played a position for a while at tackle, but you got to definitely move him around. So I think that's going to be an interesting. Peter Skoronski is very, very, very intriguing. I think just a great talent, and just some coaching. And Jeff Stoutland is the best. I mean, anybody that Jeff Stoutland picks, I'm going to agree with. I am going to love it. And it's really hard for me to, look what he turned Landon Dickerson into, was supposed to be our starting center. I mean, Jordan Milan never played NFL football, and look what he's turning into. It's really scary what this guy can do with players and how he can mold them to what he wants and what they should be. And he knows talent when he sees it. Thank God Jeff Stoutland signed a multi-year deal with the Eagles, and they just threw him the bag and gave him whatever. They gave him a suitcase of money and said, here, now make our offensive line even greater. And they have to, there's a lot of Eagles fans that say, hey, let's just wait till next year. I don't want to wait. I want to be ahead of the ball game. I'm not saying let's draft Peter Skoronski. God forbid you don't know who's going to be available. You have Paris Johnson out there that could play multiple positions. DeJuan Jones is out there. Osiris Torrance could start at guard right now, with the 30th pick. I mean, there's a lot of options. There's going to be guys dropping to the second round. You never know what the Eagles can get. Now, their second-round pick is between 62 to 64, so they might miss out on some guys. They might have to trade up, if that's the case. But the offensive line is great, man. It's great, and I can't wait. And this is what good teams do, man. You take care. You make sure your quarterback's protected. You're going to give your quarterback all this money. You're putting weapons around him the past couple years. You're doing some good things, and now you got to get protection. You got to keep this thing rolling. You got Lane Johnson and Kelsey. They are two of your obviously last remaining players from the last Super Bowl. They've been here since they've been drafted, and Kelsey's counting down his years. And Lane Johnson, can he stay healthy? Even though he played good on the torn abductor, he's dealt with ankle injuries consistently, consecutive years, plus the torn abductor, which he played very well on, but you don't want a guy to go through that as well. So you want to be extra prepared if you have a Paris Johnson that could take over for Lane Johnson's spot, or if you had a Skoronski and say, hey, let's put Peter Skoronski, let's kick him at guard, let's put Cam Jurgens and Skoronski in competition for that starting guard spot, because Cam Jurgens is going to be a great talent here at center when Jason Kelsey retires. And obviously with Cam Jurgens not playing at all, it really helps the Eagles. So if he misses this year and they drafted Skoronski, then he'll be a lot cheaper just to see him for 2 years. He'll be a lot cheaper. It won't be as expensive. So really, he became a cheaper price becoming a free agent. Really just depends what he does this year. If he starts at right guard, if they don't draft a guy at 10 early, we'll see. I know offensive line is boring to people, probably is boring to everybody, but I think it's great. I think it's awesome. Like I said, it wouldn't upset me at all. I'd be like, damn, that's a good move. Because I'm all about getting protection for this quarterback and your future. You got no depth. You lost Dillard. Driscoll's not. I don't want Driscoll playing right tackle, and he could probably play right guard, but obviously Cam Jurgens is sitting there right now, so they could get another guy. They can play tackle and guard or move around the line. There's plenty of guys out there. Trust in their judgment, especially Jeff Stoutland. So other than that, guys, that's pretty much it. That is the news as of right now. We had some pre-draft visits. The Jalen Hurts contract. We talk a little bit about Marcus Mariota. He had his press conference. Joey Porter Jr. There's a lot going on here. We still have a lot of time left before the draft. It will be here before you know it. The more you think about it, the longer these days are just going. So if you guys have lasted this long in this video, 22 minutes, I am sorry, but there's a lot of news here. I got to put it out. I got to rant a little bit on top of it. Guys haven't subscribed to the channel. Like the video. If you guys haven't either, appreciate all the support. You guys have been doing fantastic, and obviously with the comment section and giving your input on what the Eagles are going to do. If you haven't checked out the Philly Shakedown merch in the description below, we've sold a lot of hats and a few t-shirts, actually. We're going to be rocking these things in a few days to show everybody what we're all about in Drafting 5, the Philly Shakedown merch. Definitely pre-order by April 14th. The link in the description is below for all that great stuff, and make sure you follow all of the links to support as well. And I'll see you guys on the next one. You guys have a fantastic day. Shake what up, follow us. Peace out, guys. Peace.